Spider-Man: No Way Home. Will Peter come home? Will Spider-Man lives? Um, let's find out. Come and join our conversation. First and foremost, guys, if you haven't seen this movie yet, what the hell are you doing watching a review? Because this is a spoiler review. Let me put it out there again. Spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the movie, you probably don't know there's 3 cameos that we all got it right. And one of them I got it right. No one else got it because everybody didn't think I was right. So if you haven't seen it yet, please get out of here and go watch it and come back. But this will be a spoiler review once again. I am joined by my co-host. We've been doing this regularly, guys, and I'm actually very, very happy about that. And want to welcome back Aubrey and Jaren. How you guys doing?
Good. Tired.
Good. Tired. They're tired because they have a baby that's teething and they're not getting enough sleep. So those who have
sick.
and sick. So those who doesn't have kids, you guys don't know what hell is like until you experience that, in my opinion.
As I'm yawning.
That's not right. Spider-Man: No Way Home. This is the 3rd installment of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. We don't know if it's the last. We do know for a fact that Kevin Feige have confirmed that him and Sony are making more Spider-Man movies. We just don't know if it's in the MCU universe. I'm pretty sure it is, but the way it ended, it was kind of like, well, we'll talk about it because the way it ended, I thought was kind of like, oh, that's pretty interesting how they do it that way because Sony can actually take over without having any connection to the MCU, if you think about it. And so, there's so many people starring this. We got Zendaya, of course, Tom Holland. You got Benedict Cumberbatch, which, guys, the second post-credit scene,
let's not even call it a post-credit scene. It was literally a full-on trailer.
It's trailer. Mind-blowing orgasm all over the place, let me tell you. Yes. Also, we got Jamie Foxx in here. We got who else? Jon Favreau, of course. William Dafoe. I think he stole the show. We also have Alfred Molina. Is that how to say his name? I believe. And the woman that made me cry kind of hard was Melissa Tomei. That scene was heartbroken. So let's start off. So we have Spider-Man. We picked up exactly where we left off in Far From Home. Gosh, these titles are really confusing.
Yeah.
And you start off and we got Mysterio revealing his identity, and Peter is going through all these like craziness. People find out who he is, Peter Parker. And you start things out with people, trying to get away from people, trying to figure out what to do. Essentially, he comes around and asks Doctor Strange to help him because not only his identity affect him, it affects his loved ones around him, and it makes them their life miserable, especially for the kids that they can't get into their schools that they want. Their lives are basically put on hold because they're involved in this, as they call it, scandal. And so, and you pick up from the movie, and then you got Doctor Strange doing the spell, and then all hell broke loose. Different version of Spider-Man's enemy from different universe jump in, and then we have one of the greatest battle maybe in with 3 Spider-Man fighting all these different villains. And so that's just the dip of what the movie is. But there's so much more we can go on. We'll talk about it. Give me you guys' first impression of this movie. What were some of your thoughts?
You go
first. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. There was a lot that it was a lot. Like that first bit with Doctor Strange almost didn't even, it felt like almost a completely different movie. Like there was like big sections of this movie, but every section was good.
Yeah.
I really liked it. The whole Aunt May spoiler dying. I don't know why I didn't see it coming. Like I kind of should have because of because Uncle Ben is the big character arc in all of the other ones. So I guess I should have seen it coming, but I just don't look into those types of things very often. So I didn't see it coming, and I was really, really sad that she died.
What's funny is I thought they made it seem like she was going to survive, but folks, that glider hit her straight on,
She got sliced.
She that was in trouble.
and she got up. I'm like, oh wow, are they making Aunt May having superpower? Like, is she not gonna die? And
Yeah.
right when she said the famous line, I looked at Winnie. She's dying, and she died because she says that with great power come great responsibility. Everybody that quote that freaking quote dies, and so
Yeah.
when that happened, I was like, oh no, they're killing her off, and boom, they did.
Yeah.
Anything else? Sorry.
Whoa, there was a dead spot.
I didn't know if he was gonna go more.
Our wife,
no.
He clearly didn't know if I was gonna go more either.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny.
That's why go ahead.
I really liked it.
Let me.
Honestly, not a single thing that I could say I didn't like about it.
Okay, nothing at all.
I think so, but
Okay.
I'm not hard to please when it comes to these types of movies either.
That's a good point. How about you, Jaren? Do you have, what was your first impression of this movie?
It like she said, it was how long? It was like 2.5 hours. It was
long.
It was a long movie, and like she said, it kind of did feel like there were sections of the movie, but I mean, it was pretty cool to see all the Spider-Mans, show up at once. That was pretty cool. What's sad though, I know we're doing a movie review, but I've never seen the other Spider-Mans. The one with
I've only seen the first one with Andrew Garfield.
Oh my gosh.
But I knew he hasn't seen him at all. I knew enough about his character, and I knew enough about the Gwen Stacy stuff that I didn't have any issues following along.
So,
we'll talk. Yeah.
So I've never seen those ones, but like our theater exploded. I mean, you could kind of see it coming because that he was doing. I can't remember his name.
First of all, Ned. I don't know how he figured out to do that. That's one thing that I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Well, he was just like talking and doing his circle like that.
Well, okay.
To just randomly do it.
Yeah. Right.
Because didn't it take Doctor Strange like forever to even do that?
Yeah.
Well, Doctor Strange,
I guess they had to.
Doesn't have the heritage that he has.
That is the key. That is the key.
I'm serious.
No, that is the key because he did mention to Doctor Strange.
His grandma tells him all the time
that they have magic in his family. So.
But it was cool when he was starting to do that, and I was just like, I bet this is where the cameos are going to come in.
Yeah.
Sure enough, bam.
Oh.
Well, you could just feel like the theater heightened.
Well,
like everybody was just like ready for it.
Well, it was a good moment because of what you just went through. An emotional scene with Aunt May, so they had to bring that excitement back because man, that scene broke my heart, man. And so, hey, let me ask you guys this: give me some of your favorite scenes, or maybe some of your favorite moments in the movie that you have. If you need to think about it, I can go first.
You go. Oh wait, no, if he's ready.
If you're ready, Jaren, go ahead.
Like you said earlier, I think. Out of all the Spider-Mans, the bad guys, whatever, William Dafoe stole the show. Just his acting, like he's creepy.
Dude, he is brutal.
But because the other bad guys, they were like, meh. They were. I mean, what's his name? Dr.
Otto Octavius.
Like he was pretty good,
but he wasn't. But remember, he wasn't bad at the end of Spider-Man 2. Yeah. He became good. So I knew they weren't going to make him bad because of that reason.
But I did like the Goblin.
Green Goblin. Well, because like even when he's like being normal in the head, and he's innocent, you can tell that he's innocent. And when the Green Goblin
his face is changed.
Like,
I don't
eyebrows and the teeth.
But I don't. Here's the thing. I don't think Norman was ever there until towards the end when he got cured. Even when he went to Aunt May, I think he was faking. I think
that's true. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Well, there is, but I will have to come back with this, is that when Peter figure out, remember they were making that tech, and all of a sudden his spider sense him, and the director did this. It's like the horror movie version, like when there's something happened, they zoom in and like slow motion. They use that as Peter spider sense, and he figured out like what's going on, and then he knew that it was Green Goblin. So maybe at one point, maybe Norman was there for reals. Maybe when he was with Aunt May, but then when he figure out that they're trying to cure, maybe he came back. I don't know, but
that is a part I really liked. Actually, I really liked seeing the Spidey sense. They didn't do that in the other movies, did they?
That's my point. One of my point is I want to talk about that because it's a game changing. They rewrote the rule of Spidey sense in this movie. If you go back to all the movies, the other one with Tobey, and they already have that with them. You think about Tobey Maguire, he can sense it. You can talk about Andrew Garfield, they had that from the beginning. Here, they didn't have it in the beginning. Remember that the first, he doesn't know he never had a spider sense until they progressively evolved the power. The first one, nothing. When he was in Infinity War, they had the hair, the goosebump hair. Yeah. So it's kind of progressed. Then Endgame, he kind of had it because he was the first one to figure out that he was going to be dusted, because he told Tony, I don't feel so good. He was the first one to figure out that there was something wrong. But then after he got blipped back, and this is important, there's a scene in Spider-Man Far From Home where Aunt May threw the banana at him and he got hit by the banana. And Aunt May was like, I thought you would sense that. What happened? Like, I don't know. I'm just, he's just tired. So what happened was when he came back, he had to relearn that power. He kind of shuts it off. And so because of what's going on, he just got blipped and he didn't know what's going on. And now his spider sense is so powerful that when Doctor Strange hits him into the astral plane, whatever you want to call it, and his soul came out. He's the only one that you saw that can swim back to his body. He also the only one that his body still moved, because Doctor Strange couldn't get things. But if you go back and watch the movie, when they're separated, his soul has spider sense wave around his head. So we know how powerful that spider sense is. In fact, in the comics, Miles Morales' spider sense is so powerful that he can connect with all the spiders in different universe, and he can feel all of them. So somehow they rewrote this power to make him powerful, to be able to like control his own body against Doctor Strange. Like that was pretty powerful. And so
and then that one Doctor Strange was just like, that's not supposed to be able to happen.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. That's pretty cool.
And so so we'll talk about what I didn't like in a minute, because there's one scene in there about Doctor Strange. Anyways, is there any other, Aubrey, do you have any favorite scene? Or Jaren, do you have some more?
Besides that, I already talked about just other Spider-Mans meeting. Yeah. There was a lot of comedy with all of it. I think that was pretty funny. But I think, that's pretty much it.
Okay. What about you, Aubrey? What's some of your favorite moment?
I think one of my favorite moments was when, he was like going to town on Green Goblin, and he was gonna kill him, and then Tobey Maguire Spider-Man stepped in, and I was like, you have turned your back on the freaking Green Goblin, and then he stabs him, and I was just like, but the fact that they didn't kill him, like, I honestly thought that they were going to kill Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Okay, let's stop. Let me talk. That's one of the things that I had an issue with.
That he didn't die.
But no, why stab him? What was the purpose?
Kind of to show that he was willing to like sacrifice himself.
Okay, but
in order for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Peter Parker, to not go down that murderous road. Okay. He already went down, right?
But he didn't. That scene could have been differently. But why stab? Because he didn't. Nothing. It didn't affect him. I don't understand that scene. I still love it. Don't get me wrong. But for me, that was one of the gripes that I had. Was like, wait, why you stab him if he's not? I was with you.
I just thought he was gonna die.
I turned to my wife, Whitney. I was like, are they killing Toby?
Yeah.
They wouldn't
bet-
care.
They better not. And of course they didn't. The only thing I can think of is to prove to us again that the power of the spider sense is important, because there's after he got stabbed, Andrew Garfield was holding him up, and Andrew Garfield can feel like, tell Tom, you're feeling a lot of pain, or
You're not looking right.
you're in a lot of pain, right? Yeah, I can say, like, so that's another point of how
Yeah, that's interesting.
Spider-Man can connect to each other with a Spidey sense. They know each other's pain. That's the only thing I can think of why that scene was there.
Yeah.
But besides the fact that he's helping to, anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your.
No, you're good. Well, that was one scene that I really liked, and then the other one was when, and I haven't seen, as I said, I haven't seen the second Andrew Garfield one, but I knew what happened and the emotional side of things. So when he was able to save Tom Holland's MJ, that
the
was
whole
really
theater
big.
again blew up.
And he didn't know why the crap.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I kind of put two and two together. I was just like, something must have happened in his movie.
That's literally how she died.
Were you did you feel awkward?
Well, I stood up and started clapping too.
I did. I'm just not one of those people. But it's fine that there's other people like that. But what was that? That one guy stood up for something else. There was this guy, he was standing up like 3 or 4 times, and I was just like,
well,
I get that it's big.
The couple right next to me, they were like geeking out. They couldn't hold still in their seat. They were just flipping out. I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm a big nudger. Like when I knew like Spider-Man was coming, I would like nudge him, you know. But I'm not gonna like. I don't know. I feel like
I know.
I get that the whole crowd was excited, so it's not that big of a deal. But
Aubrey, you just don't have a heart.
No,
just kidding.
Experience for other. That's what it's about for me. That's why you don't talk in movies. That's why turn off your phone. You do all those things so that you don't ruin the experience for others. But
I agree.
It was like when people scream and shout, you miss the next thing.
I agree.
Next words after that, and you're like,
agree.
what did they say? It might not be important, but I want to hear it.
I totally agree with you, but I'm still clapping and shouting.
No, as I said, I'm fine with like clapping and a little wooing, but when it's like long cheering, where I'm like, can we sit down so I can watch the movie, please? Anyways, nope, that's it. I really like it.
Okay. Go ahead. I
gotta say, I really liked that. That at the end, when he saw that his friends' lives were going good, he didn't disrupt it.
Yeah,
I
that
do.
Was probably really hard for him because he's 100% alone.
Yeah. I don't know how I felt. I mean, it was a good ending. Like how they did it, they just kind of like made it like, oh, they could go anywhere. Like you said, they could go anywhere now with any direction they want.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was just kind of like, well, is that it? Is Spider-Man done? I mean, they could. They could just be done with it, and well, with his series, he could pop up down the road in a bunch of other ones. But
that's true. So let me. It's okay. We're comfortable here. Look at my room. We got my sleep machine right here, guys. My audience, I have sleep apnea right there. Let me just soak in the 90%. I said this time I have to admit.
Oh, you said 85.
85. I was wrong, 85. But technically, I could have been 90 because, so folks, you know that I love prediction, and you know that me, Aubrey, Jaron, and my wife, we try to predict as much as we can, theories and stuff. A lot of times they watch whoever they watch and they come up with that theory. I just come up with my own theory. Anyways, so one of our prediction was the 2 cameos, which came true for both. We both all believed that Andrew and Tobey Maguire was going to come in and boom, even though Andrew's been lying to us for the last 2 months. But, I'm not mad at him. He had to do that. Tobey Maguire doesn't talk to the media. So,
no. He wouldn't say anything. His videos were actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't realize how old he is.
He's old. He's
46.
He's old, 46, yeah. So
not that old.
I mean, Tom's 6 years away from
that's true.
I just turned 40, correct. And then the other, remember on my Instagram live, if you folks got the chance to watch it, I did predict another cameo that people weren't thinking about, and that was Daredevil, the lawyer that was in the room with Peter and all that. So he's now was confirmed by Kevin Feige that he is in the MCU. So therefore, if you watch Hawkeye, spoiler alert, Kingpin is back. Is played by the same person that was in the Netflix series, and that is I don't know, I can't say the name. I'm blanked on it. D'Onofrio. I don't know his.
Nafrio, right?
Yeah, something I don't know. Anyway, so we know that it's right now. Are they bringing back all the Netflix character? We don't know. Guess Jessica Jones, Luke, whatever, Luke Cage, and all that, and so I don't. Punisher. I don't know. He's too brutal, but man,
They should.
They should bring him back. I mean, we'll see, but we know for sure two are back, and that's why he was in the movie. I was okay with that. There's this movie. I love this movie. It's a lot of fan service, and I'm okay with it because there are some movies that have fan service, and it makes no sense to put them in there. With this one, it's actually fan service, part of the story, part of the plot that moves the story along, and I'm okay with that, guys. My favorite scene is, of course, when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire meet. Interesting enough, did you guys notice when they first saw each other, what did they do? Do you guys remember? They shot at each other. What does that mean? Why do they shoot at each other? It's because I have a feeling that this is just a theory that they might have already met other Spider-Man that attacked them before. Why would you attack? Here's another thing. They were there a day before Ned did the circle thing and found them. They were there a day. So they already knew that this is a multiverse. They had an idea that there's a multiverse out there. Andrew was talking about, is there magic in here? There's magic here too? So he has an idea of what's going on. In Tobey Maguire world, they already had Doctor Strange in there. If you go back and watch the original one, when Jonah Jameson said, what should we call this, Dr. Oct? What they were giving him names. And the guy was naming all these things. He's so Dr. Octopus, no, Dr. this. And he says Dr. Strange. And James, what's his name? JJ says, no, that's already taken. So there's already a Doctor Strange in his universe? I don't know. So it seems like they already had an idea that this is what multiverse is, because the first thing they did was they attacked each other. So that means they must have met some other Spider-Man, and some type of battle happened between them, and they couldn't trust the other Spider-Man.
That meme comes from.
Maybe. This is just a theory. That's what, man, guys, I got up. I didn't get up, sorry. I clapped my ass off. It was so awesome. It was my childhood to see Tobey. When Tobey walked in, people were it was so loud because most of those people grew up with Tobey, and so as Spider-Man, and I was so happy that he came in. And man,
coming in, but maybe our crowd, but Andrew, he was getting a lot more cheering at first and everything because he was more comedic.
Well, he's more charismatic.
Yeah. Like with it, but like when Tobey came in, he's the OG.
Yeah,
he's nonchalant.
Nonchalant. And it's funny, is all the mannerism is exactly how they were. And I'm so glad that they got to come back and to redeem the last movie, because Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't a good movie, but the chemistry between him and Gwen made us actually okay to watch the movie. Because man, there's 3 times that I've cried in the movie hard. One of them was when Gwen died in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Just what as Whitney, like I was bawling. It was the saddest thing I've ever experienced. And the other one was Judy. If you guys want to watch that movie, Judy, I cried. That broke my heart.
And the other one is when the hobbits bow down.
You're about to know it.
You're about to know, yeah.
Thank you. And the third one is, I didn't cry hard, but man, I cried. It was Aunt May. That was one of my favorite scenes when it comes to acting. The acting in this movie was on point. There's nothing wrong with anybody. William Dafoe is so brutal, and that scene before Aunt May died, that scene can just shows you how brutal it was. I don't think I've ever seen an MCU movie fight like what I did in Spider-Man No Way Home. I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
No,
I could be wrong.
it was a lot. It was pretty brutal. I mean, it was brutal in the hallway when Spider-Man's like,
Yeah.
over and over again, and he's laughing.
Yeah.
When he's the
Oh
Green Goblin,
man.
he could care less. And then when he laughed again, when you
When
beat
he
the
when
fuck out
he
of him,
when he threw Peter through the wall, when he
yeah,
stomped him to the ground going down. Oh man. And then
it was a lot.
Tom Holland, I think to me was so great in this is there's so many emotional scenes in this movie. You got one with Aunt May and his crying and his acting
It
just
was
got me,
so
man.
good, so good.
Oh, so good.
So, as a side note, though, so I haven't watched very many movies with like Zendaya in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's anyway, so I haven't seen very many Zendaya movies besides this one or the Spider-Man ones and what's the one with Hugh Jackman?
The Greatest Showman.
Oh, the
Greatest
Greatest
Showman.
Showman.
Other than that, I haven't seen her in anything.
Dune.
She doesn't act. Oh, and Dune.
But she was in it for like 2-3
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, she doesn't count in that. But for me, her acting is not very good. Me personally.
I don't
Interesting.
think that it's her acting.
It might be the character.
I think it's her character's the same in a lot of in all three of those movies that he's seen.
Yeah.
The way that her character is in those three that he's seen. I haven't seen any other ones either.
Anyways,
so
but and I read a comment that there was like 30 minutes in that whole movie that it's just her and Tom Holland just like staring at each other and like in love the whole time.
Well, I mean,
and it helps too that they're dating in real life.
I know. Well, that's why the Amazing Spider-Man 2, that scene when Gwen died was powerful because they were dating at the time too. So yeah, I guess I can see what you're talking about, but it is her character to be that way. Yeah. She's being awkward and stuff. The first one she was in, they didn't give her a lot to do. She was just kind of like show up and have a one-liner, hey, all that stuff. The second one, they gave her a little bit more things to work with. This one, they gave her a lot. But I can see where you're coming from because there's nothing really much about that character. It's just the fact that she's Spider-Man girlfriend and she helps him, and so. But other than that,
what I'm going off of is, the Tobey Maguire ones, the other MJ. She was like, I don't know, she just was kind of normal, but she wasn't.
She had a lot to do because she was the focus point of him trying to get her. So in this one, it wasn't the main point because this MJ already with him. So it's more he was focusing on. Let's talk about one of my scene is one of my other favorite moment is the fighting in these ones when the 3 Spider-Man came together and said, man, we suck at this. Yeah, I know. We never work with each other like anybody will. So, and I love the fact that they were saying, and that's another clue to the spider sense, how it worked, that they can sync together and they can work together and they can fight together. I thought that was so cool.
That part was funny when he's like, are you in a band?
Yeah.
What the Avengers were.
It's like Toby was like, the Avengers? Yeah. Who are they? Like, what are they? Like, you don't have a mention. So they had, I thought that was cool. I love, one of my favorite scenes too is when they're all trying to figure out how to cure them. So they're at the high school and they were doing all that stuff. And the little southern moment, like when Tom Holland's Spider-Man was kissing MJ, and then you see Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man looked over and it's just heartbroken because he doesn't have his Gwen and he was looking at that. And then you have, Toby kind of like glancing as like, are you okay? And kind of talk to him. I love the emotional aspect when Ned and MJ found them and they went to get Peter because they figured out where Peter was. And then you see that one scene when they were all on top of that building and they jumped down.
Yeah.
That moment was like, to me, was where they, as a Spider fan, you can get, they all can connect to each other where they both can relate whether it be Gwen that died or Uncle Ben, and now his is Aunt May. And I love the fact that they had Aunt May as the focal point, to somebody that he needs to lose to further his I guess in a sense further his character, because now I can see, when going back and thinking about like why they kill Aunt May off, is both Spider-Man didn't really, their character didn't really move forward until those two die. So now that Aunt May die, his character can go past whatever they need to, whatever Sony wants him to go.
Plus, he's shut off everybody now. Like
Yeah.
he's just,
Oh, can I can I go back to that scene when Aubrey was talking about when he went into that donut shop, and he had, remember, he had a line, he wrote down what he was going to say to MJ, and he wanted to tell her, I, you know, all this, but he stood there and he looked, and how happy they looked. And then he wants to tell her, but then the one scene when she did her hair, she brushed her hair away, and he sees the bandage, and he realized, I can't.
Yeah.
If they're my friend, they will get hurt. They will get, they can kill. And that's when he realized, I can't let them know. Now that's more heartbroken to me than the scene where they were saying goodbye to each other. I thought it was kind of cute when it says, when she doesn't want him to tell him he loves her, tell me when you come find me. Such a, you know, romantic.
Yeah.
But I thought the scene in the donut shop was more powerful or more heartbroken to me, because he has to give one of my favorite line. I put it on my Facebook profile, and it's when Tobey Maguire talked to Dr. Octavia. He says, sometimes we have to give up the things we want most, you know, to do the right thing. I don't know the exact quote, but that's that quote that came to my mind when he walked into the diner. And so this movie is so good. There's so many things that we can talk about, so many like Easter eggs there. There's so many things that will be to change the MCU. Doctor Strange. First of all, let me talk to you about this really quick. Aubrey's not here, but that's all right. She'll come and join in.
Yeah, she'll try.
One of my gripe about this was Doctor Strange being trapped for 12 hours by Spider-Man. He is the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right.
He's supposed to be powerful. I get that the ring that he took the ring, but he can use his power still because he's the Sorcerer Supreme. And for him,
he doesn't need the little.
I don't know. And for him to be stuck, I get it that he was supposed to, you know, he was supposed to show up in the beginning and leave, because then you have the second act all to Spider-Man, and comes back at the end, and then boom, you know, he tries to bring back. But for him to get trapped by Spider-Man, I didn't like that. I didn't like that,
especially because, I mean, that one scene was pretty cool when Doctor Strange and Spider-Man are racing through the, I forgot what he calls it, the something realm.
Yeah, the astro field.
Yeah,
something like that.
But that was pretty cool because it was kind of like Inception-esque, you know, just everything moving and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, okay, Doctor Strange can do that. Spider-Man can literally throw web out of him, and that's, I mean, compared to Doctor Strange, it's kind of not even a comparison.
I know. I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
But
that's one.
They have to play it.
You know. I know, and that's one of my gripe, is that part. Everything else is fine. I think this movie. Let's just say this actually is the third biggest opening in the world ever. Did you know that?
Is it because it's like the first movie? It doesn't help the pandemic, so I don't trust numbers like that, just because movies haven't been out. And
no, but it's opening weekend though. I'm talking about the opening weekend, and it's number 3 all time, all the movies. Endgame and Infinity, and then Spider-Man No Way Home comes to number 3, and so
of course all Marvel.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So is there anything else that we want to talk about before we move on to the two post-credit scene, or one post-credit scene and one awesome trailer? So
I want you to explain to me. So, because of the Mysterio stuff,
mhm.
what happened with Stark Industries? Because it was Stark. So, you remember in the beginning they blipped through it all really kind of fast. Like everything got confiscated by the government from Stark
Yeah,
Industries because of the Mysterio, and they were
yeah.
determined to kill Mysterio. Okay, so
Hmm.
that I get. So then Happy, he kept something, and that's the thing that they were using in his apartment, right? That
Well,
the
that
machine
that
was with Happy.
no, that machine was with him since Iron Man 1.
Oh,
It's
Oh,
the hand, yeah. So you the hand thing was
I
with
know.
Iron Man
Yeah.
1, and then you see in Iron Man 3, and then Happy had it in the first Spider-Man, which is Homecoming. And remember he was picking up stuff, and as they were selling the Stark Tower,
Yeah.
and so then he just kept that machine. So but he was in trouble because he's kind of like, he's almost like the CEO of Stark Industry, because at this time I don't know if what's her name,
Gwyneth Paltrow,
yeah, I don't know if her character is
Mrs.
gonna be in it.
Potts.
Pepper.
Yeah, Pepper Potts. I don't know if she's in the picture anymore. I don't know what's going on there, but maybe she just kind of took her daughter and get out of the way. In fact, her daughter's supposed to take over the Iron Man mantle,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah. So he's Happy. He's in trouble and he's been hiding too, and so. But man, it's sad. Even Happy doesn't remember
Yeah,
who Peter
that
Parker is.
got me. That was really sad about
Yeah.
Happy.
But he remember Aunt May, which is kind of interesting. So he remembered the relationship with Aunt May, but he doesn't remember Peter Parker
Being involved in it.
being involved with Aunt May. So he didn't know
But
who it
it makes
was.
you wonder, like, what in his brain, how does he think they met?
So I don't know. I don't
Right?
know. Here's another interesting. I know we're gonna move on, but let me. So when Doctor Strange did the spell, right? When he was doing the spell, what did he? How many spells did he do?
Wasn't it 5?
It was like
Okay,
6 or 7, wasn't
it
it?
was 6. It was
Oh,
6, but Peter only asked for 5.
What was the other one?
so
What was the other one?
was
What
Doctor
was the other
Strange.
one? What was he up to? What was he up to?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. So, but he said 6, but he only did 5. So think about it. So there's something going on there. So let's talk about, before we move on. Let's talk about the at the end when they fight. First of all, that whole scene, that whole sequence of fighting was awesome. Seeing Spider-Man, you know what I have to give? I have to give these VFX people some credit, man. Like to think of how to maneuver Spider-Man, how to fight, to swing and do all that. It was awesome. Like to see him fight, swing around. It's incredible. So now we get to the last scene, and Doctor Strange come back, and he realized, oh, I guess Peter could change them, cure them and stuff, and they cure him.
Yeah.
And then Green Goblin comes in, and that last scene is so brutal when Peter just wail on Green Goblin and just kept going. And I love the scene where the both Spider-Man, Toby and Andrew, looked at each other. It's like, oh no. And that scene comes, Toby's it made me tear up just to see Toby like trying to stop him from doing what he couldn't do, and that is, no, you're gonna go down this road. And that scene was so powerful to me, to have Toby there. And then you get this scene where Doctor Strange, they're all coming in, and you notice that when the thing exploded and it opened
Yeah.
up the very different one,
What
they
was
were
coming in?
what was
There's
coming
all
in.
these like images of things.
Yes,
I'm
we
sure if you're a comic person, you know, but I have no idea.
I saw 2 that came, 3. It was Scorpion. There was a scorpion tail. There's also Rhino, which is the Rhino that
Yeah.
in the first Amazing Spider. Oh, is it? Yeah, the first one. And then what's his name? The Hunter. What's his name?
Green Arrow, dude? No,
So,
that's
no, something the Hunter. Raven. Oh, Raven the Hunter. You see him with the staff. And so we kind of see the other Spider-Man, what's it called? Villain was gonna come in. It wasn't the X-Men. It wasn't anything like that. We don't know yet for sure. I got to go back and watch it. I'm gonna go see it probably tomorrow night. But we know that the only reason why I say is all the Spider-Man's villain is because the spell was for all the people who know Spider-Man to be disappeared. So we don't know the X-Men know who Spider-Man is, so it's not them. So they're not coming through. It was all the villains and stuff. And so here's my other thing. If the spell was for people to forget Peter Parker, was Mary J from Toby came in in that world too? We don't know. She could have been in there. So we all have the ending happy. The ending was sad. Everybody went home. I'm glad that Doc Ock helped him out. I thought that scene was good. The villains were so good. Let's talk really quick. Villains were so good. All of them
played their part really
well. Jamie Foxx was the only one that I had an issue with because it was almost like he wasn't really playing Electro. He was just playing Jamie Foxx. So, but other than that, it was fine. But everybody was so good. Everything was just. I love this movie. So we get to the post-credit scene, and this post-credit scene is kind of weird. So we get you guys see Venom, right?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we haven't seen it, but I know the gist of it. But
okay,
Venom goo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Venom
If you've seen Venom, like the movies suck. It's not that good. But the best part about it is Tom Hardy and Venom. You know how he's speaking and he's talking in his head. They're funny. They're funny. Okay, so that works. So in Venom, the second Venom, if you guys can see, their post credit scene is Venom was sitting it was laying in bed and he was talking Venom is a symbiotic being that has knowledge and power, right? So he was talking about to Tom Hardy's character, I forgot the name, but I said, your brain would explode if I give you all the knowledge that we know. So he comes, and so as he's talking that, all of a sudden the entire room changed. He was being transferred to a different universe. He was coming to Tom Holland universe. In the post-credit scene, he's seeing Tom Holland and Peter Parker face on TV. It was when Mysterio revealed Tom Holland Spider-Man who Peter Parker is. He came right when that happened. So Venom knows who Peter Parker is because although I don't know if they show his face, he just know because remember he's part Spidey, so he has that Spidey sense as well. So he gets to kind of understand and he's talking about this knowledge that he has. So we come to this post-credit scene in No Way Home, and he's sitting in Mexico. For somehow he got to Mexico. I don't know how he got there because he was in Maui in Venom post-credit scene. So he got to Maui, he got to Mexico, and he's talking, and then he gets transferred back. So he went back to his universe, but he left a little goob.
Left the goob.
Which I felt kind of like, you said that they are going to make more Spider-Mans. So that's basically how they're opening it up to Tom to have some sequels.
So it's a different than what in the comics happens. In the comics, they astronaut goes up into the space and brought Venom back on board, and then he got into Peter Parker's system. In this one, they changed it. Venom, instead of from the the space, he came from a different multiverse, and he's stuck there. Now in the comics, it's Flash Thompson who becomes Venom. If you know Flash Thompson, he's the one that wrote the book, and so he's going to be Venom if they go with that story. But he's goofy looking, so I don't know why they would go with him, because Flash Thompson in the comics was a good looking dude and tall, and like he was an athletic dude. This Flash Thompson is not.
Well, if they make Tom Holland go all Venom like they did,
I hope he goes
with
emo.
Tobey Maguire, I hope we get some really cool dancing.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Hair flips.
I'm sure they look back at that one and they're
we
like,
have to think about the time.
No.
The time was emo. Like the bad kids were the emo.
There was no time for that.
Yeah, Sam Raimi didn't want to do that. It was the studio that came in and said you have to do it.
And then the tango scene.
That's terrible.
Terrible.
Badass. He can tango and he dances.
So horrible. Okay, so that's what happened. So now we know that the Venom is in the MCU.
Yeah.
Second post-credit scene. multiple orgasm, folks. It is Doctor Strange, multi madness, I don't know what the. Let me see what the title is.
Madness.
Multiverse Madness or something.
Yeah. Let me look it up.
Multiverse of Madness.
There you go, guys. Wanda's back. Oh, when I saw that her hand, I was like, "It's Wanda." And then when he goes to that field, first of all, if you watch that field is, I think it's another reality that she created for herself. It was just too perfect.
Pristine.
Yeah, I was like, every tree was lined up perfect. Everything was perfect around the center.
So we were talking about it after we saw that and whatnot, and we're like, with all these series that they're doing, with WandaVision and Loki and that, are they just doing a one season and done, and then they're just going to tie in that character to these new movies? And from the new movie trailer, it kind of looked like that.
Like a one and done.
For WandaVision, anyways.
I think what they're going to do is one season would connect with a movie. Second season might connect with a different movie, because we know for sure that Loki first season will connect with Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantum Realm, whatever the title is. So we know that they're going to connect to that.
Yeah.
And so I think different show will be connect. For instance, Hawkeye will be connect to, I think, the more grounded characters like Daredevil and stuff like that. Yeah. So I don't think we'll see them later on down the line, but what to be an Avenger. But yeah, I think that's how they're gonna do it. I love the fact. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Because Doctor Strange full blown, he was just like, "I'm not here about Westview." Here,
yeah. No, I don't think that I think he realized he really can't really do anything, because I think he knows Wanda is powerful. Yeah. Because even Doctor Strange is not even he's not even in charge of the Sanctum. No. He's not even the supreme. He's not even the supreme sorcerer. It's freaking Wong by technicality.
Yeah, which is funny. That was pretty interesting to hear.
I know. So the first thing he thought that he was, so somehow she knew, which is interesting. She knew that he knew about West Point. So he's been watching. Yeah. He's been hearing all this stuff. So he knew. The other thing is, remember in WandaVision, the director came out and said, and Kevin Feige said, that those weird commercial in WandaVision was supposed to be messages from Doctor Strange to Wanda, but they scratched that for some reason. And so it's because of what happened in his movie. I think that's how they're gonna clear that up. But first thing he says, I'm not here for what she said. I make mistakes, and he's like, I don't even care, dude. Yeah, I'm not here for what I need
bigger fish to fry.
I need your help. And so you see all these, and then you see another girl who will come and help. She is powerful. I don't know her name completely yet. I don't even know her character name in the comics.
I can't even remember.
There's a girl. Remember in that one scene, he opens the door and there was two girls standing behind him, and he's looking through the space in that space. That was Wanda, and the other girl. The other girl is powerful. She can go to different multiverses by running or something. Like her power has to do with her foot. I forgot her name. Well, I'll find out and let you guys know. But I'm excited for that movie. I think it's gonna be awesome. It looks so trippy, and it looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's an evil Doctor Strange.
So, I like that. I liked how his goatee was just a slightly pointier.
Did you guys? Here's the thing. Did you guys see What If?
No, not all of them.
No.
It's connected to that.
Oh, is it?
Which episode?
Because I think it's episode, I don't know, 4 or 5. Yeah, now,
watch that one.
Here's the thing. If you watch that Doctor Strange would time travel. He kept going back to try to not kill Christine, or try to somehow, how is it, Christine or something? Yes, he killed Christine, and he's trying to go back in time to keep trying to save her. And finally, he doesn't go, like they were dating, and so finally they had a big dinner date, and he decided not to pick her up, leave her alone, and she still dies. But so he's changing, and as he's doing that, he's creating this chaos in his own universe, and it's melting, and he can't save the world. So what he does is he uses his power to trap trap this universe from disappearing. And so he's trapped in this crystal that the Watcher has. Here's the thing: the Watcher took him later and used him to. You have to watch What If. I can't. It sounds like all over the place, but that Doctor Strange absorbs so many different demons in him, and he becomes this evil looking Doctor Strange. But then towards the end, he can control it, and he helped the the Avengers to fight against Ultron, who is the main character in What If. So he was more contrite. This Doctor Strange, he was kind of like humble. This one looks evil. This one that came out looks really evil, and I don't think it's the same one from What If, but it might be. It might be the same Doctor Strange from there. And so,
yeah,
dude, I can't wait for that movie. I'm excited. Anyways, guys, we've been on for this forever. Because final statement. What would you rate this movie, and how much? Yeah, what's the rating for this movie, and why would you give that rating?
Probably 10 out of 10. I just
said
I'm not as critical on movies, and as long as I'm entertained, like if you can entertain me from beginning to end of a 2.5 hour movie, then I like it. Easy as that.
10 out of 10. Jaron?
I'd probably give it a 9. A lot of people are saying it's the greatest Marvel movie ever. No, it isn't.
It's not.
It's probably just because we've been in a drought.
Well, and that's probably what they always say that, but I don't think it is. They must have forgot about Endgame and but anyways,
I give this 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think it has heart, has emotion. There's emotional beats to it. There's funny. It's funny. It had all the fan service that you can ask for, and it makes sense that these fan service were in there. The fact that they gave Andrew Garfield a redemption when he saved MJ, I thought that was awesome. So I love this movie, and I want to watch it again. And so, but folks, let me know what you think of this of the movie. Have you seen it? If you have, I hope you have, because or else we've been spoiling it for you this whole entire time. Let us know down below. Comment, please subscribe to Talk Story Podcast. Let us know what you want us to review, to do top 10, top 5. My top 5 of why Die Hard Sound of Christmas is coming up, guys. It will be coming up. And so, but thank you for listening. Thank you, Aubrey and Jaron. Until next time, be kind.